All right, today on CAS Minute, we're going to talk about building a strong brand identity for your CAS practice. So, what are the four elements of your brand identity, and how do you build them in a way that resonates with your target market? So, first, when you think about strong brand identity, the basis of all of your brand identity is going to be your core values and your mission. So, if you have definition around the values of your practice and what your mission is, you can then start to align the rest of your brand identity around these core values. These values should influence your value prop, they should influence your brand voice, and then all of the logo and visual elements that go alongside of that. So, core to your brand identity is your values and your mission. That needs to be front and center. Once you have that nailed down, you should start moving into what is your brand voice and messaging? What's the tone that resonates with your target audience? How do you create consistency in messaging across all your platforms, including your website, your social media presence, how you email clients, what your deliverables look like? When you think about your brand voice and messaging, you're really trying to identify what type of emotions are you trying to elicit from your target market? How do you want them to feel when they come across your messaging? Now, you could have a strategy in which you've got an energetic messaging. Maybe it's highly professional, maybe it's quirky. There's a lot of ways that you can incorporate unique positioning via messaging that is consistent throughout all of your language on your website and deliverables, etc. So, one thing here that I think is really important is that this should be unique to you. This should be something that helps you stand out from the rest of the people in this area and then attracts the right type of customer to your business. So once you have this consistent brand voice and this messaging that incorporates your core values and mission, you need to start baking into the rest of your design. What does the visual of this look like? What is a logo? How do you take this messaging, this tone that you want to establish, and make it come to life with visual stimulation for those that are coming on your page? So colors represent a very unique feeling, a unique perception to those that perceive it. And so blues will look very different than greens, and greens very different than reds, and reds different than blacks. And so you really need to understand, how do the colors that you're using on your website help support the messaging and tone that you're trying to deliver. It also does go in tandem with the core values and mission. It might sound silly, but the color usage, the topography, the imagery that you use can help support all of these things and help them to work in a really cohesive manner. So once you have a logo and visual elements, you want to make sure that the usage of that is consistent across everything that you're delivering. It's really easy to get into a rhythm of, oh, well, we've got a website, but we're not baking that brand into our proposal, into our deliverables. And the more that you're capable of doing that, the more you're going to pull people into your environment and make them feel like they're having a really holistic experience. The last piece of developing a strong brand identity revolves around your unique value proposition. So what sets your practice apart from competition? How are you clearly communicating your value prop to clients? So part of this could go into the messaging. Hey, do we call our customers clients? Do we call them startups? Do we call them business owners? Do we call them SMBs? Developing a standard taxonomy on how you market and how you utilize language will be really important to drive consistency in communicating that value proposition. Now, saying something like, we take care of the accounting so you can get back to work is not a value proposition. There's no uniqueness in that. And so you need to understand, based on your target market, what is the highest and best value that they can receive from working with you? What sets you apart? Is there a certain way in which you work, a certain way in which you price or bill, or maybe there's a core expertise within this target market that really sets you apart? That requires a lot of work, and we've done a few episodes on how to craft a value proposition. So take a listen to those. But when you're building a strong brand identity, remember these four things: your core values and mission, your brand voice and messaging, the logo and visual elements, and then the unique value proposition. When all of that works together, you're able to put together a really comprehensive, face to the market to help them identify who you are, what you do, and how you serve others. I hope that's helpful. Until next time.